everyone, James, Fit RV, and today we're working on a little repair and replacement project that I think pretty much any EKKO owner could pull off. Although it may be applicable to other RVs as well, I just don't know. We're only going to try it on the EKKO here. Speaking of EKKOs, if you're going to Camp EKKO, this will be a workshop that's run at Camp EKKO. So if you see this and you're like, yeah, I want that, then you might want to check your email and sign up because you want to make sure they bring the supplies for you. Okay, so what are we doing? Well, recently when I was coming back from our trip to Ragbri in Iowa and I took our bikes out of storage, I noticed that my bike was all dirty and dusty. And I thought, what the heck? I know I put that bike away clean. What happened? Well, it turns out the problem has to do with door seals, and this is just one of them. So the door seals on our EKKO, you see this? They're put on with adhesive, and that's great. And ours is 4 years old, so I should be glad, I guess, that it lasted 4 years. But we live in the desert, and later on this afternoon, it's going to be like 113 degrees on this side of the RV. And that, over time, is just going to destroy any adhesive, inside or outside of the RV. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this off, and we're going to replace it with a product that we got from Freedom Van Go / Van Parts Warehouse. And it's pretty easy. Anyone should be able to do it. So let's take you inside, and I'll show you what we're going to do. Okay, so this is a piece of the original Winnebago gasketing that goes around the door, right? You can see it. And it's got an adhesive on the back, which is great, but it comes off over time. Well, the folks at Freedom Van Go / Van Parts Warehouse have found this stuff, which has pretty much the same profile as the original Winnebago part. In fact, I even think this bulb is a little bit bigger, which is good. But instead of going on with adhesive, it goes on with this little pinch clamp kind of, I don't know, can you tell there's metal in there? There is metal in the end of that thing. And it goes, and it's just going to pinch over the edge of the door like that and hold it in place, which is great because no matter how hot it gets, this stuff isn't going to fall off, right? Unless it gets hot enough to melt metal, in which case then I've got a completely different problem. Anyway, so we're going to take this stuff off and then we're going to replace it with this stuff. Now, you will need a couple tools to get this done, but they are very basic. Come on down here. So, you will need something to cut it. Now, there is metal in it, so you will need something that can cut metal. Most people probably have a pair of side cutters like this. Okay, this will work. If you have a pair of tin snips, these will also work. Or even like aviation snips, these would probably be the easiest because, you know, you've got compound leverage going on with those. So you'll need something to cut it, whatever it is, just not scissors, that's not gonna work. And then you will need, it's helpful, you might not need it, but it will be helpful to have a mallet because, you know, it's pinched and you gotta push it on to the door jamb. So this would be kind of overkill. I'm not going to use this mallet. I just have lots of mallets. I'm going to use something like this because my objective is not to dent the edging as I'm putting it on there, but just to kind of nudge it on. So that's what we need. And this all starts with removing the old weather stripping or whatever you want to call it that's on there and cleaning up the door jamb. So let's start with that. Not coming off. Maybe I should have waited until the afternoon when it's like 113, then this stuff would just fall off. When you get down to the bottom, note that that's where it starts and stops, at the bottom. The reason for that is because if any water gets in there, it'll come around to the bottom of the door and then drip off without actually getting inside. If you put that joint at the top, you know, water could get in and leak inside. So remember this because we're going to keep our joints at the bottom. Okay, so the OCD in me wanted to take off all of this residue from the previous adhesive and stuff. But then I realized it's not totally necessary because when you put on this new stuff, it's going to be going far enough to cover up anywhere where that adhesive would have been. So what I'm going to do, even though I'll probably be awake at night knowing that there's adhesive residue underneath it, what I'm going to do is just kind of remove the worst of it and then just continue forward. Because if I try to remove all this, it's going to take me all freaking day. That's as far as I'm going to go with removing this stuff. Okay, so after you've removed the old seal to whatever level of comfort you want, Now it's time to put this new stuff on. Now I've just got it in like one giant continuous piece, and I'm not going to cut this until I know where I need to cut it, just so I preserve as much of it as I can, right? But it goes on pretty easy. Remember, we're going to start here at the bottom, just kind of in the center, and it looks about center-ish. Just going to tap it on. That looks pretty good. All right, and now we are just about to the end. And so I'm just going to cut this with these aviation snips, whatever they're called. All right. So we're going to adjust these just to make everyone happy. So to adjust these, it's really easy. You just need a 15 millimeter wrench, which coincidentally is the same size as for like a bike pedals, a pedal wrench. So anyway, and you probably want a pair of them to hold the other nut. And, oh, nope, we need a 15 and a 17. You don't have to use Wera tools, but bonus points if you do. Try that.
Yeah, that feels more like normal. Yeah, I like it.
Okay. I've tried several different things to get this old stuff off and make sure I get the adhesive off. And as far as just pulling it off without having to resort to heat guns or chemicals or whatever, just what I found is working best is just take like a plastic pry object. In this case, I've got like a plastic chisel, not metal. You don't want to scratch the finish. And then push underneath as you're pulling on the adhesive. I've got a little problem right here because there's this strut for the rear door hinge. I'll show you how we get around that in a sec. But just push through as you're pulling up the adhesive, and it seems to get off enough of it that I am no longer worried about having the, there we go. See, it comes off nice like that. No longer worried about having excess adhesive preventing the pinch seal from gripping properly. There's a wrinkle in the back door, and that is that we've got these gas struts here and here, and they have a mounting plate. You can see the mounting plate right there that we're going to have to cut this stuff to get around, right? So that's why I've stopped here. I did that one to try a couple different techniques to maybe get that done. And the first thing you might be tempted to do is there's a little spring clip on here that holds this strut together. And if you're tempted to pop that off and then remove the strut, don't do that for two reasons. One, the door will fall and hit you on the head. And two, you will nearly slice your finger off trying to get the clip back on. I don't know anything about this personally, but that may happen if you try to remove that clip. You could also try to undo it here. Again, the door would fall. You'd have to have someone help hold the door open. And then that could rotate around because it is a little tricky to get stuff in behind there. But whatever way you do it, and I found the best way is just to mark it, cut it, and stick it in there. It helps to have a little pencil. I have this pencil that writes in yellow. And so I'm going to mark this trim where I'm going to want to cut it. There. Better to start off too small than too big. And it's cut right along the line I just made. It's a little work to get it over there, but the important part's on the outside, so I think we're good. There we go. So I'm just going to continue on. If I have any other major events or learnings during the course of this, I'll cut back and let you know. Okay, so kind of finishing up on my last door here, and I'd like to think I'd learned a few things, so I'll tell you kind of my tips that I've picked up along the way. First, for removing the old seal, that pull and follow it with a scraper, this is just a plastic chisel. That works the best out of everything, so that's fine. Number two, favorite tool for cutting turns out to be these tins. I guess they're like aviation snips is what I've heard them called. They cut really easily, and everybody's going to have to make at least a couple cuts, not just cutting the links, but like if you have a Trekko, you're going to have to maybe cut around this shelf, or if you're, everybody's going to have to cut around those struts in the back. So that's best tool for cutting. I like this one. Third, after I would remove the old sealant, I would follow it up and clean it up with mineral spirits, not to try to remove all the residue, but just to get it a little bit cleaner. Next, you can do it without a mallet, but I sure like the mallet. It's saving my hands from having to push so hard on this all the way around the rig all day long. If you don't have a mallet like this and you don't want to buy one, even just maybe like a hammer with a block of wood would work. You just don't want to go whacking at it with a hammer because you'll like dent this stuff. It's not all that thick, right? So a mallet or hammer and a block of wood even will help. The next thing, when you have to adjust, because remember, see, now we're putting something this thick on the back of the door, and this bar has to pass behind it. So most likely going to have to adjust your door locks, depending on how yours are adjusted to start with. Mine, the way I had them adjusted, I found consistently, it was loosening them by 1 1/4 turns of the nut, was just about perfect and got it exactly back to where I wanted it before, give or take, but 1 1/4 turns seems to be what the difference is in that. And yeah, let me think. Oh, the other thing, where you have to mark, I loved using this little guy. This is a Pica dry pencil, but you can get yellow lead for it, kind of like a yellow grease pencil. Makes it really easy to see on these, especially when you have to mark it blind and you can't see because you can't get inside the cabinet. Another tip is when you get back around to the bottom, where you started and you need to meet up, cut it a tiny bit long, like just a 1/16 of an inch or so, because you can kind of compress this stuff and get it in there and then to get a nice tight seal on the bottom. And then finally, the last point. If you are a lithium Power Ranger like Steph and I, and you've got the generator delete option, you will have on that compartment for the generator delete, you'll have 2 very sharp inside 90-degree corners. Best way I found to get around that is just to make a single slit right at that corner point, and then the stuff will just bend right around that. So that is pretty much going to do it. We've got new door seals on all of our door seal compartments. There'll be a post over on thefitRV.com where I'll list out like all the tools I used and the materials that I needed. And remember, if you're coming to Camp EKKO in a couple weeks, there will be a workshop there where you can install this too. All in all, even with the filming, it only took me, a couple, 3 hours. So, and I've got a non-standard EKKO anyway. So use that to kind of judge your time, but not too difficult. I think anyone could handle it. And that'll do it for now. See you later. Bye.